Hello. Welcome to Richard Ray Show. And as always, you can call me Rick. Today we have Holly Wright, the assistant at Britt Allcroft Productions. So, tell me Holly, what are you going to talk about today?
Today we will talk about the director's cut of Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
Okay, so do you want to tell us a little about the movie Thomas and the Magic Railroad?
Sure. Well, Thomas and the Magic Railroad was Thomas the Tank Engine's first movie. Thomas's franchise we owned at the time, and as released, an old foe returns to the island. His name is Diesel 10, and he has a secret plan to destroy all the steam engines. Meanwhile, as the Fat Controller.
Who's the Fat Controller?
Here in the United States he's called Certifum Hat. Anyway, as Certifum Hat goes on a short holiday, he puts Mr. Conductor, who is on a race here called Shining Time Station, in charge of the island. However, he has problems of his own as his magic dust called gold dust runs out, and now the only one who can help any of them is the Lost Engine. A sad man named Burnett Stone his lady, the Lost Engine. Having been crashed in an accident caused by a chase with Diesel 10 when Burnett was young, he tries his best to restore her to life, but to no avail. His granddaughter Lily knows that he can help Mr. Conductor and the engines on Sodor, and with the help of Mr. Conductor's cousin, Junior, travels to the island of Sodor via the Magic Railroad. She and Thomas help save the Sodor and restore the magic to the island and the railroad.
Sounds like a neat family film, but you said that there was a director's cut. Can you tell us about what is in the director's cut that isn't released yet to the public?
Pretty much only one thing, the story's plot. The parts in the plot that gave the story substance just wasn't released.
That is a pretty bold statement there. I've also seen in many reviews by film critics that it is the worst family film of all times, yet the plot doesn't seem all that bad. What went wrong in to bring it to so many bad reviews?
Those reviews state poor writing, saying there isn't much of a plot. The plot holes that the film critics noticed weren't there in the original script. In fact, its story is better than the released version.
Britt Allcroft is credited as both the writer and director in the movie. Yet you make it sound that she had nothing to do with the cuts that made the plot holes in the released version.
You are right in saying that. It wasn't her decision to make those cuts. Had that been true, the director's cut would be the final, released version. In the end, it was the studio who forced Britt to make those changes.
Now, let's get down to it. What were those changes?
Several complaints by a test audience of 6 to 8-year-old children in an LA-based mall. Some of the voice talents, like the Isle of Man taxi driver John Bellis as Thomas and UK narrator Michael Angelis as Percy and James, were dropped because their tones made the trains sound, quote, too old. Also dropped to their roles was Doug Lennox as the main antagonist, Pint Boomer. According to the audience, he was deemed, quote, too frightening for children.
P.T. Boomer, you say, is the original main antagonist, yet in the plot you described earlier, Diesel 10 sounded, to me at least, as the main antagonist. How can that be? Was the script and the release version really that different?
Yes. In fact, Diesel 10 is a new engine on Sodor in the original script. It was actually Pint Boomer who caused the crash of Lady. He was described in the script as a drifter through choice. He was jealous of the relationship of Burnett and his wife, then deceased, Dasher. He didn't believe in magic, and crashed Lady as an act of revenge. He returns 40 years later a dark and bitter character. The biker scene in the movie whom Burnett gave directions to was indeed Boomer, and was redubbed to make it sound like he was a lost biker, saying, thanks a lot. He winds up later on Sodor and shares the same fate as Diesel 10.
Now, obviously, there were poor reviews, but honestly, were there any other side effects to these changes?
Oh, yes. The movie was one of the biggest blockbuster failures in history, only climbing to about $700,000 above the budget in United States currency. As a result, Britt Allcroft removed herself from her own position in the company, which was later acquired by Hit Entertainment, who owns the Thomas franchise today. They even decided to change Thomas to Iggy instead of models like in the movie to save money.
Now, obviously, the director's cut isn't released entirely, but is there any deleted scenes that are currently released?
Yes, on the DVD in the US there is a deleted scene called Sunday Surprise. Unofficially released on YouTube by a user named Jord87, the climatic chase scene towards the end of the movie was uploaded. While it is also seen in the released version, this version contains Pint Boomer and the original voices. While Jord87 took it down, many Thomas fans have re-uploaded it. Just search for Pint Boomer chase scene on YouTube.
We're running out of time and I have one last question for you. Is there anything fans of the movie can do to release the director's cut to the public?
Yes. A popular Thomas fansite called Sodor Island has made a petition to release it onto DVD. You can sign the petition at http://www.petitiononline.com/tatmr/petition.html. All you need is an email address, and it is very easy to sign. Do it for the justice of Brittlecroft and Thomas himself.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much, Holly.
You're welcome.
What is the URL to sign it again?
http://www.petitiononline.com/tatmr/petition.html.
Thank you for watching. Good night, everybody. And remember, sign the petition just like I'm going to sign it right now.